You walk into a store and pick up a pair of Nike sneakers. The price tag says $150. They feel light, mostly fabric, foam, rubber, and glue. So how does that become a $150 product? Where does your money actually go? To materials? To factory workers? To the retailer? Or straight into Nike's profit? Let's follow the money and find out. A sneaker looks simple, but it's built from dozens of parts. A rubber outsole on the bottom, a foam midsole for cushioning, an upper made from fabric, synthetic leather, mesh, and plastic reinforcement, then laces, stitching, adhesives, and insole labels and packaging. High-performance models add carbon fiber plates, air units, or precision knit fabrics, and a much higher price. But for a typical mass-produced sneaker, the raw materials might cost around $15 to $20. That doesn't mean the finished shoe costs $20. Every piece still has to be cut, molded, stitched, glued, assembled, inspected, and packed. Nike doesn't own most of the factories making its shoes. Production is outsourced to independent manufacturers. In Nike's 2025 financial year, about 51% of Nike brand footwear was made in Vietnam, 28% in Indonesia, and 17% in China. Inside these factories, workers and machines cut fabric, mold rubber soles, stitch the upper, then glue, press, and inspect the finished shoe. Once labor, overhead, quality control, and the factory's own margin are added, a sneaker might leave the factory costing Nike somewhere around $25 to $35. That's an estimate, not an official Nike number. The real figure depends on the model. One common misunderstanding is that the entire factory cost goes to the worker. It does not. That factory price also covers materials, electricity, machinery, maintenance, supervisors, rejected products, and the factory owner's own profit. The direct labor for one pair may represent only a few dollars of the final retail price. That's an important number. It shows just how small the worker's share can be compared with what you actually pay in the store. A big jump in factory wages wouldn't add $50 to the price of the shoe. The gap is created by something much bigger. After the factory, the shoe has to travel. It's packed into cartons, loaded into a container, shipped across an ocean, cleared through customs, and moved to a distribution center before it ever reaches a store. Freight, insurance, import duties, and warehousing can add another $8 to $12 per pair. Returns, damaged stock, and unsold inventory have to be covered somewhere in the price too. By the time the shoe reaches the country where it's sold, Nike's total product cost might be somewhere around $35 to $45, but you're still paying $150. What happens next depends on where you buy the shoe. Sell it through an independent retailer, and Nike usually gets a wholesale price, something closer to $75 or $80, not the full $150. The retailer needs its share to cover rent, staff, payment processing, inventory, marketing, and the products that never sell at full price. But when Nike sells the same shoe through its own website or its own stores, it can capture a much bigger slice of that retail price. Of course, Nike then also carries the cost of running that store, that website, and that warehouse. That's one reason direct-to-consumer sales are so attractive to a brand like Nike. You're not just paying for rubber, foam, and fabric, you're paying for the story around them. Nike spends billions of dollars every year on marketing, sponsorships, athlete partnerships, and product launches. That spending turns a functional object into a cultural one. A plain sneaker protects your feet. A branded one can represent identity, status, sport, and belonging to something bigger. The swoosh itself costs almost nothing to print. But building a world where millions of people want to wear it, that's extremely expensive. Part of every sale helps fund the next ad campaign, the next athlete deal, and the next global launch. So does Nike just pocket the difference between a $30 factory cost and a $150 retail price? No, it still has to pay designers, engineers, sales teams, offices, warehouses, sponsorships, advertising, taxes, and administration. Gross margin isn't the same as final profit. In Nike's 2025 financial year, its company-wide gross margin was around 43%. That means less than half of every revenue dollar was left to cover marketing, corporate costs, taxes, and profit. And because so many pairs are sold wholesale or at a discount, Nike doesn't collect the full recommended retail price on every single shoe. The physical shoe might cost $30 to make. But manufacturing cost isn't the same as total cost, and total cost isn't the same as value. You're also buying design, research, availability, retail service, marketing, and the confidence that comes with a familiar brand. Whether that's worth another $100 isn't really an accounting question. It's a personal one. For some people, the performance and identity are worth the price. For others, the difference is simply the cost of the swoosh. A $150 Nike sneaker isn't really a $150 object. It's a relatively cheap product traveling through an extremely powerful global machine, and that machine might be the most valuable part of the shoe. This is the real cost. Subscribe to find out what the world's most familiar products really cost.